Hey everybody, it's Meredith Miller from Inner Integration and welcome to another Sana Q&A episode. I'm going to be posting a bunch more videos today, some questions that I have from you guys as my audience. I'm taking these from the page on my website, so if you would like to submit a question for me to read in one of these Monday Sana Q&As, I'm going to put the link below in the description of the video so you can click on there and post your comment. You will need to be logged into my website in order to leave that comment. You won't even see the page. It won't come up for you if you're not logged into my website. So if you need to do that, the link is there below too. It's innerintegration.com. The bottom of the page, enter your name and email. You'll get your own personal login information. So today, I'm going to start with this question. This person says, can you please explain the pathology of the emotional manipulator's tendency to imitate other people? I mean, both the act of imitating the target, but also the tendency to steal and copy your ideas and the driving force of pathological envy. In my dealings with various EMs in the past, emotional manipulators, right? I have struggled with this and found that this tendency extends itself in other arenas such as friendship and work. I find this tendency very peculiar, and I understand that it happens due to the disownment of the self or splitting of the self, but its effect is very detrimental and it feels like identity theft. I also understand that envy plays a huge role in this tendency and the distorted belief that other people are envious of them or are copying them, which of course is a projection. Your thoughts and insights would be much appreciated. Many thanks. So yeah, this is a very common phenomenon that will happen, which they call it mirroring, right? So the narcissist, the psychopath, the sociopath, the borderline mirrors you, mirrors what they think you're looking for in a mate. If this person is approaching you, as a potential lover or a partner, they're going to be mirroring everything that they think you're looking for in that. If you find this person at work, they're going to be mirroring, your career aspiration and, all of this kind of stuff, or something you're really passionate about at work, and then they're going to pretend to be passionate about it, or maybe they decide they're going to, work with you on a project that you're starting or you're, into. This could happen in friendships. It's like what they call like the single white female phenomenon. If you've seen that movie, I think maybe it's from the 80s or 90s. Pretty scary. Where this person becomes your friend and then starts imitating you, like copies maybe the clothing that you're wearing or your hairstyle and color, or, inserts themselves into your life, in your groups of friendships and everything, but really they're inserting themselves like a wedge. You just don't realize it yet. They're pretending to be everything you like, everything you're looking for. They're studying you essentially. So yeah, it is a form of identity theft. In fact, I talked about this in my Sana series. I don't know if you guys have seen my 12-week Sana audio series that also is available on my website. It's only $10 and it's 3 months, right? It's 12 episodes. You do an episode a week. It has exercises, meditations, and each week has a topic. And this was one of them. I forget which week this was. I'll need to check that later, but I'll put that in the link below. But this is the identity theft. Literally what they're doing, they have no sense of identity. The narcissist, psychopath, sociopath, borderline has no sense of identity, have no idea who they are, right? So they see somebody who's either popular or successful or confident or has something going for them that they're jealous of, that they want, that they either want to be like or they literally want to take that from you. And then they make themselves into being that person. They pretend to be that person. Now, that doesn't last forever. It can't. That's the mask, right? The mask will come off and you'll see that and you realize that this person was just full of crap. None of that was real. It's literally like they stole your identity, became this person, and then you lost your identity in the process, right? Because then you started changing and fixing things and taking on all the responsibility and the faults and blame of everything that was going on. You know how it goes, right? So, you mentioned in here like the pathological envy, and I think that's a big part of it, because the person without conscience, right? Could be the narcissist, psychopath, sociopath, could be the borderline too. Just depends on the person, how extreme they are, how many qualities of sociopathy they have, you know, because they could be anywhere on that continuum. The more qualities of sociopathy they have, the less chance that they actually have a conscience, that they can, you know, feel the weight of guilt. If that person feels no guilt, you know, and they're always putting that on someone else, either through guilt tripping or blaming someone else or rationalizing or minimizing, using any of those covert, aggressive, manipulative strategies and techniques, you know, they have very access to real emotion if they have no conscience. Because conscience, as Dr. Martha Stout describes in her book, The Sociopath Next Door, which is fantastic. You can even listen to the audiobook on YouTube. I don't know how, the whole thing is available on YouTube, or get the book. But she talks about conscience as the seventh sense, right? And she says that conscience is related to our ability to feel empathy for another person. Conscience essentially is the very foundation for love and compassion and human emotional connection, right? This is why they say the narcissist can't love. The narcissist didn't love you. People always ask, but I really loved him, or I really loved her, and I swear there were moments that they really loved me. They didn't love you, because if they don't have a conscience, they can't love. Not like you and me. They can pretend it. They can fake empathy. They have now studied other humans and recognized the signs that they need to put on and show, you know, to make it seem like they love you, but they don't. They just want to use you. You know, so part of the lack of conscience is their lack of emotional connection, is their lack of emotional depth. They have access to 4 emotions: fear, jealousy, anger, and hatred. And that's it. Like these 4 primal emotions, and they cannot access anything else. So jealousy is one of their palette of emotions, right? And so when they see something, instead of like a normal person, right? Maybe like you see like a role model or someone that you really admire or someone that inspires you, and like you watch them or you see them and you're like, man, that's so friggin' awesome. Like I want to be like that. I want to learn from you. And like you model after them as a role model, right? Like you're not becoming them. You're not trying to take what they want. You aren't jealous of what they have. You're like, rock on. Thanks for blazing the path. You know, thank you for being who you are. It's almost like your presence like gave me permission to be myself, right? To do what I want to do because I see you doing something similar, and you study them. You know, you study someone who's like 2 to 10 steps ahead of you so that you can learn to do whatever it is they're doing or something similar. You know, you want to do something similar and they've already done it, right? That's the positive role modeling. But what happens with the narcissist is a very negative thing. Like they don't want you to have that, right? When you see a positive role model, you're like, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. That is rocking. But the person without conscience sees that and wants it, or doesn't want you to have it. You know, at the very least, if they can't take that and have that for themselves, whether it's your position, your status, your accomplishments, your finances, your partner, your whatever it is that they want from you. So they use various different manipulative techniques to either put you down or to shame you or make you feel guilty or make you feel unworthy or make you feel inadequate and not good enough. Like they will try all sorts of things to tear you down, right? Because that's a very negative thing, that kind of jealousy and envy. That's very negative. You know, it's not at all the same thing that we're talking about when you're talking about having a role model in life. It's a very different thing, and it can be very confusing, you know, because at the beginning when they're doing the love bombing or idealization phase, you know, it's like, it seems like it's flattering, right? But it is just flattery. It's empty flattery. It's not genuine. It's not real. It's not who they really are. It's not what they really want. You know, they want you, or they want something through you. So they're going to pretend to be this thing, you know, that you're looking for. So, you know, if you're dating someone or you're out in the dating world, be really cautious of this, because when you meet new people, you know, you might find the brand of narcissist who is the most interesting man in the world, or woman, right? Where they're so amazing, and like they're not trying to mirror and be what you're looking for. They're just trying to convince you that they're so interesting, you should be paying attention to them and just begging to be in their presence and near them, right? That's one brand of narcissist, but then this brand, the one who like studies you and figures out all the intricacies and seems really interested in you. Like they're not talking a lot about themselves. They're really interested in you. And it's so confusing because you're like, wow, nobody listens like that. All my life I felt unheard. All my life I felt unnoticed, you know, I felt unworthy. And here this person is giving me this attention and making me a priority. And wow, they like everything that I like. It's so amazing, but it's not real. And that's the thing, you know, so you really want to be feeling like, is there depth to this? Is it genuine or is it not? You know, sometimes you can find that out through questioning, but you would be surprised how much people can learn about topics on the internet, right? Like I was dating this guy a month ago, and when I met him, you know, he was mirroring everything that I was looking for, you know, spiritual. He'd even worked with ayahuasca, you know, I mean, there was like all these things that we seemingly had in common. And I crossed a boundary at the beginning. The boundary was, I don't date guys who have cats because I am extremely allergic to cats, like not just sneezing and stuff. It's like asthma, like I can't breathe after 15 minutes. I can't date people with a cat because I can never go to their house. And then when they come to my house, I have to worry about the dander on their clothing. And even hugging a person who has cat dander on their clothing could cause a 24-hour asthma attack for me. That has happened. One of the boundaries that I set with myself is I no longer date people with cats because of this. I just don't want to put my health at risk. It's not worth it. Like if I don't have my health, I have nothing, right? So I have to support my health. I can't be wearing down my immune system like that. Well, he pretended that he didn't know, that he didn't see that in my profile or whatever. And so like, you know, and I'm like, all right, well, and then he's like, you know, it would just be a shame to like not explore this connection further. For that, I feel like we should just explore this. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Cause like, how often is there a connection like this? And you know, he just did a stellar job of putting this on, like stellar, right? And this was like, it only lasted 2 to 3 weeks and then he ghosted, you know, and the amazing thing was that my body knew it before he left. Listen to your intuition, okay? When you're hanging out with someone, they can probably keep up that appearance for a couple weeks. By a month, you're gonna see the signs if you're paying attention, and you really have to pay attention to your inner barometer. You might have no proof in the outside world, okay? I had no proof except that my body shut down when he showed up. As soon as he came into my presence, everything closed down, right? And then the next morning, he ghosted. And it was like my body knew. I knew at some level. So I wasn't even upset. I just let it go, right? So you want to be in that place where you trust your instincts, your intuition so much, despite the fact that you have no proof outside of you. If you get a feeling, something's just not right here, go with that. Listen to that. Right? I think if I had prodded a little more, I would have seen more, you know, but I was just so ecstatic that I met somebody who had so many things in common with me, right? Now I know. Now you know, right? Be very cautious, even when you're meeting friends, you know, after going through these kinds of narcissistically abusive relationships, you want to be very cautious who you're letting into your life. You know, it may seem that they have a lot in common with you, but give that time, give that friendship time to develop, give the new relationship time to develop, ask more questions. You know, if there's one regret I had about that, I would have asked more questions and I would have been really observing the answers. Like, was there depth to the answer, or was it like something a person could have read on the internet, or something a person could have deduced from watching someone else talk about it, or something like that? So that would be my advice. You know, also, I think, why else are they doing this? You know, your question about the mirroring and the jealousy and all that, I think it's because they know how mediocre they are. It's their own sense of inadequacy. You know, they have this insatiable desire for power and control, yet at the same time, they know their incapacities to reach those levels. So they're jealous and they try to steal it from other people. They're not good enough. They're usually not very bright, not very talented, but they want to be. So when they see someone else who has those qualities or is in the position that they want, they will try to sabotage that. And they might come in pretending to be that mirroring thing, right? Everything you're looking for. Maybe they pretend to be the ideal employee. Maybe they pretend that they're this amazing boss and you go there for the job. Maybe they're pretending to be the awesome coworker who's supporting you in this process. Maybe they're pretending to be the awesome friend, you know, who's really into what you're into, or this new person that you're dating who's into what you're into. So be careful. Be really careful, give it time. Usually within a month, you're gonna see that, right? You know, moving forward, that's a really important thing to look for, you know, and just recognize, investigate more. You know, that's the one thing that I would do differently next time, is investigate more and look at every instance, every opportunity, you know, that you got into, and you could say, okay, I made a mistake. Yeah, I made a mistake. I compromised that boundary. The boundary should have just told me no from the beginning. But I doubted myself, right? And it wasn't a horrible thing, and it wasn't like a horrible thing happened because of that. But what did I learn from that, right? Well, I learned no more compromising the boundaries. The boundaries are the boundaries, no matter what the appearance is, no matter how little proof you have. You've got to listen to yourself. You've got to listen to your intuition, to your sense of integrity, support your values, you know, and act in accordance to that. Don't accept something that someone else is trying to get you to do because it seems like a good idea, but it's going against your boundaries. Don't cross those lines. There's always a cost to crossing the lines, okay? You know, and don't get super wrapped up in thinking about like, so why is this person doing that, or why did they do it, and all that. Like, the bottom line is that this happens, and it happens a lot. That's what they do. If you waste all of your mental time and energy and focus on that, you're just going to be like obsessed with the situation. All your energy is going to be going to the past, or going to that person, or going to your self-doubts, or going to your sense of victimhood. You know, you want to cancel that and redirect to something positive. Like, the very first positive thing I would do, so that you can put that behind you, is extract the lesson. And what was the lesson that you learned? You know, okay, you made a mistake. Start there. Okay, I made a mistake. I did. I crossed the boundary, right? What was the lesson that you learned? Okay, now I learned, from now on, I'm going to do this instead, right? And then you learn something. That's the most important thing. And now you also know that there's this whole brand of narcissists out there, psychopaths, sociopaths, borderlines, who come in pretending to be the perfect everything that you're looking for, or at least, you know, a lot of what you're looking for. And they do it with skill. They can do it like an Academy Award winning performance, and time will tell. Time is the ultimate teller. Just let them reveal themselves. And as Maya Angelou says, you know, when people show you who they are, believe them. I'm sending you a big hug.